Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Reloading Chat. And Donald Trump released some new information on what he wants to see in our immigration vetting process. And I think we can officially say, now that we've looked at it, that this is probably the most pro-female and pro-homosexual immigration policy any presidential candidate has proposed in my lifetime. So the leftists who want to jump up and scream, and the Democrats who want to scream that they are for women's rights and gay rights, you guys dropped the ball on this one. Because what Trump has proposed, and this is pretty revolutionary, that when we screen people for the vetting process, because we need to make sure that we are only letting people into the country whose basic beliefs are compatible with our country, our values, and more importantly, our laws. We live in a country to where women and homosexuals have equal rights to other citizens. They're not second-class citizens. And so therefore, he wants to do a screening, and I would assume it's maybe using an MMPI or something like that, to do a screening so to again determine their level of honesty, to make sure that people coming into this country who want to immigrate, whether they're refugees or normal immigrants, part of the vetting is that they have to accept that women and homosexuals have equal rights as part of their beliefs, because that is our laws here. So the idea is to eliminate the most radical elements out there and make sure that when we're bringing people into this country, irrespective of what their nation, ethnicity, or religion is, that they're suited to American life, because otherwise you get a cultural clash. And that's the thing that I think we in the U.S. understand. We are a melting pot. We are probably the most successful melting pot in history. I mean, we've done it successfully on a large scale, but we've done it by bringing a trickle in of immigrants so that we continually get new blood, new genes, new ideas, new cultural flavor added into the mix while maintaining the main body of the country and the primary culture. And we're just adding a little bit to basically just enhance our nation and enhance our culture. And I mean, we've really had tremendous success with this. And so, again, I think people need to realize, even I'm not anti-diversity when I talk about immigration issues. I am very, very far from it. I mean, my own family are immigrants. Look at my last name, Blaha. That's a Czechoslovakian name. More specifically, Bohemian. My great-grandparents were not born in America on my dad's side. Needless to say, I am descended from immigrants within the last century. So, very far from being anti-immigrant. Again, cultural diversity can be a valuable asset if done correctly to a society. But part of that is diversity, not cultural clash. And when you bring in large numbers of people whose basic ideas and beliefs are incompatible and will put them in direct conflict with your mainstream society, and more importantly, your actual laws, in this case, our laws, you can't murder someone for being a homosexual. That is a law in the United States. In fact, that's a hate crime. In a lot of places, that could get you the death penalty. So, you can't beat a woman for showing her neck or her ankle in public. These are our laws. And if you have people who do not accept these laws, it's a problem. And so this is also how you vet people from Islamic countries. That way, you can bring in Muslims who are moderates. You can bring in the moderates, the ones who are most likely to adapt to our way of life and integrate into our society and our culture. And I mean, if they can do that, then it's not a problem. I mean, if a group of people can come over here and successfully integrate into our way of life, and they bring something of value to the culture, that's a fantastic thing. I would think most people would agree with that. They're not going to disagree there. But if you bring them in and they're at complete odds with your society, in that case, like if you have someone, you bring them into your country and their actual beliefs that they hold personally, or that it's okay to kill someone for being gay, or that they should kill someone for being gay. That's a problem. But that's a very radical element. And if you can eliminate that radical element coming in like that, and again, bring in the more moderate, the more modernized, the ones who are more open to our way of life, it will eliminate that problem. It will eliminate the fear that people have of Muslims. You'll be able to bring in the ones that you know are safe, they're good, and that they're going to adapt to our way of life. They're coming here for a better life. They're not coming here because they want to change our way of life. They're coming here because they want to improve their own life and the life of their family and the next generation of their family. You know, they're coming here seeking the opportunities that this country offers as an equal member in our society, but they have to accept that others are equal as well. And that's mandatory. And I think that's a fantastic way to do that, because you'll get rid of that fringe element. And again, that will eliminate right there 90% of your radicals. Maybe 95% of your radicals, maybe 100%. But it's going to be a high number, and that is one of the best ways to do a vetting process. And it doesn't have to be specific even to that religion. I mean, that same policy will again eliminate an influx of misogyny and an influx of homophobia from various countries, cultures, and religions around the world. And I would think even the left, even the Democrats, because they claim to be pro-female and they claim to be pro-homosexual, that I cannot imagine any of them objecting to such an idea. Can I imagine them objecting to such an idea? Of course not. Because they are pro-female and pro-homosexual after all, aren't they? I mean, that's what leftists are. And they would always choose basic human rights based on gender and sexual orientation before they would choose the rights of someone's religion or beliefs, right? That is what the leftists claim. So I can't imagine, if they're being honest about their claim, of them objecting to such an idea. I can't imagine it at all. So I think it's fair to say that Hillary's going to have to match Donald on that one, because that is a doozy. I mean, that is, in terms of writing an immigration policy with the intention of protecting female equality and gay rights within our society, is pretty groundbreaking. And I don't think anyone was expecting that type of idea coming from a right-winger, were they? So, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. Of course, the only other argument could be the true hardcore leftists, which we see some over there, will object to that only because, as I said before, there seems to be a fringe of leftists and social justice warriors who, to them, diversity means bringing Islam in, bringing Muslims into countries irrespective of what they believe, even if their beliefs are dangerous or incompatible with that country. But the views of those individuals will become crystal clear when presented with this specific topic, because they're then going to have to publicly, if confronted with this idea, they're going to have to publicly pick a side. They're going to have to decide and state up front, do they consider women and homosexual equality to be more important than their embrace of radical Islam? Because, I mean, if they believe that sort of stuff, you're not dealing with a moderate at that point. You know, someone has a belief that it is acceptable to put someone to death because of their sexual orientation, you're clearly dealing with someone who's radical. That is not moderate by any definition of the word. And of course, I think, again, most of us would agree that sort of bigotry has no place in American society or in Western society at all. So, I mean, that is a fantastic litmus test as part of the vetting process to figure out who can get in and who can't. And it also, again, like I said, since you know that type of method is going to cut down on radicals tremendously, I think it would remove some of the fear that some people might have of Islam, because you can then vet that a lot better and realize, okay, you know, we have a decent vetting process now that is really taking into account the real issues, the real problems we face as a society, and we know that we're getting basically the more moderates, that we're eliminating the radicals, a good section of them, if not all of them, by doing that, and we're ensuring that unless they slip through the cracks somehow of that system, that we're getting someone who is probably going to be okay, that we don't need to watch that person and say, hey, you know, is this guy dangerous? Is he a terrorist? Because we know that he's been properly vetted. We know that we look closely at their core beliefs to make sure that they're compatible with our way of life. And if someone is truly compatible with our way of life, and they really are coming here to better themselves, the odds that they're going to be a terrorist it just doesn't work that way. Why would they become one? You know, if they're truly coming here to better themselves. So I think it's fantastic, and I think it is very progressive of you, Mr. Trump, to propose such an idea. And I think that based upon the merits of that idea, because you are actually putting female and homosexual equality above freedom of religion, that I just can't imagine any of the Democrats objecting to that. You know, unless, of course, they're bought and paid for by Saudi Arabia and the Saudi royals, who also believe in putting homosexuals to death. So we'll wait and see what happens. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.